Or we're stopping. Can you guys online hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. So, as you heard before, my name is Apan57. Uh, quite a few people knows me by another abbreviation based on my name. It's Pax. That is what everyone in Europe knows me about nowadays. And I don't, that's okay. I'm a federation manager for Swami, the Swedish Academic Federation, but also member of the Game Future Working Group and some more. I breed federations. So let's see if it, yeah. The problem statement we have and done over the last year or two last years is that Eddie Game is a big beast, very big beast. Today there are 79 member federations, and all member federations had a delegate and deputy in the Eddie Game steering group. That meant that Eddie Game, as soon as Eddie Game should do anything, at least half of those 79 needed to vote on this. And that was more or less impossible. It made everything take extremely long time. Some things, when you see, will still be in this 79-ish or 80-ish group that needs to take decisions because of trust. But we will see what happens. Then we have the editing service team. They are employed or contracted by jobs to run editing as a service. That contains operations team that runs the metadata aggregator and every things connected to that. For example, the technicediting.org and so on. And we have the support team, the security team, we have the, I will not call it business development team because it's not business, it's function development team more. How to use Edigame, how to make Edigame better. And all this is paid by the John project. The John project is co-funded by 50% by the European Commission. The other 50% is paid by the European NRS. So that's why you see Europeans everywhere in Edigame, and only Europeans because how money is flowing this system, who pays for the work. But for us that works with Edigame, it's very, very, very important to have the whole world influence how it works. So the downsides is, as we said, it's slow to make decisions. It's not a direct link between a GN project and the GN governance. And to be frank, the member federations is very silent. If you look at it, it's the 7 biggest federation that have an impact on what happens because they have the resources. And biggest federation doesn't mean the biggest in user base or something like that. It's about money. They have more FTEs, they have more probability to do good work. And they are normally very much UK fed, Surf, Connext, My Federation, Swamid, DFN Federation, and so on, the German Federation. And then we have, of course, the Incommon US. and you guys, yeah, they are the big ones in these cases. They have the resources to, but we want to have more people involved, and that to make this happen good way is refits. Refits is the community that drives things. So the new model is quite different. It's very, we have the Edgain Executive Board. Because of how it's funded, it's a giant board. We have a steering committee. I will come to the steering committee later. And we have an assembly. Standard way of doing stuff. The steering committee is 7 individuals. You will soon see who it is. At least 4 of them are federation operators. 2 seats can be from the broader community, for example, research organizations or other stuff, other types. So it's before Edgain was only federation operator driven. Now it's possible to get information from in the same committee from other parts that uses it. And the Edgain service owner is a 7th. That's an ex officio and it's vice chair. And the committee appoints a chair from the 6 first. So we have a small steering committee that has a group of responsibilities. They're proposing changes to the Edgain Declaration and Constitution. But that part is decided by vote in the Assembly, that all Federation members. The steering committee is doing the policy work based on technical policy work, changes on profiles and things like that to make things run much smoother, going faster. And of course, things like strategy and work plans. That is the thing. And of course, metadata peering. Today, there is no metadata peering between Edgain and everything else. It could be. It's totally possible that the interfederation Edgain interfederates with other interfederation or federation. That's totally possible, but we don't do that yet. I haven't heard that in discussion either. And the Edgain Steering Committee also do the heavy lifting on will do the heavy lifting looking at new federation members, going through the process. We heard yesterday that some federation Indonesia has some big problem to get this through. I don't know why. We will look into this in the future. And of course, approving the assembly must vote for every new member, because that is a trust. But the steering committee does the heavy lifting around it. And then we have, of course, you need to disqualify or temporarily suspend the federation on some reason or not. One normal way is that they go offline. That happens. It had happened quite often in Africa and South America. And that is part of Constitution, how this works. And then they have appointing a chair to the steering committee, of course, and non-voting observers. So the steering committee can put in subject matter experts discussions in the steering committee, but the steering committee is decides. And then a new thing, working groups within Edgain. If we want to do changes within Edgain, we want to have the community be part of that driven change. And that is a working groups. Let's see. What? Yeah, so. Okay. Membership is assembly decision. Yeah. And up to now, the again secretariat has done the heavy lifting for membership handling. Now it will be the steering committee. Yeah. So we are moving it. We'll move also. Yeah. We don't know. We haven't done this yet. This is so new. The new constitution is from the start of this year. Yeah. So we don't know yet. So the assembly is all federation members are have the possibility to vote in the assembly, and it's shared by the steering committee chair. And the assembly has a small part nowadays instead of the big things that it had before. So it's doing only voting on changes of declaration and constitution and membership. And they can also do a veto decision for the steering committee if something the steering committee has done too wrong, the assembly can turn it around. And voting based on changes will be done as it has been done over the last years with an electronic vote. So we don't need to meet to do the electronic vote. But it's important, very important that the members, federation members are voting when they need to vote. Otherwise, it will take much longer because we need to have 50% of all members to vote, as is written in the Constitution. So that means that when we have membership, we need to have at least 40 federation voting. Yeah. So perhaps we hope that this will make it things faster. No, it's 50. It's majority vote. Yeah, there is provisions for that too. So there are provisions to handle stalemate. So next steps. Yeah, new constitution. Constitution was invoked 1st of January this year. And then we have in December, in the beginning in December, we had a call for steering committee nominations. We had a vote as that was open until Friday last week. I hope most of you federation operators has voted. I hope. I can say this was more. It was 50 federations that voted. That's good. And steering group committee was appointed yesterday. Next time for the next part for steering committee is to meet the first time and appoint the chair.
Can we congratulate you on being elected?
Sorry?
Can we congratulate you on being elected to the steering committee?
Thank you. There were 8 people that has been put up in the rooster, and 6 of them should be appointed. So yeah. So the new so here is the new steering committee. It is 4 people from Europe. I'm sad to say. I really wanted to have more from other parts of the world. This is very important. But why this happens? I would say it's twofold. The first one is that Europeans have more money into the federation than most other federations, and the Australians didn't say, we want to be in steering committee. Yeah. And then we had one American and one from this region, that's Farham. We had another one that round up to be. But the second part of the twofold thing is that to be voted on, you must be known. That is, of course, people must know who you are. And that is very important. That's why both Terry, Brooke, and me saying, please be active in both in REFEDS and REFEDS working groups and in the coming game working groups. That's the way people start knowing you. That's the way you start to trust you. So it's always about trust. So if you want to be able to be part of the steering committee and so on, please be active so people can see you. Start to being silent active. That means come to working groups, listen and understand the process, and then start to be part of doing good stuff in working groups. Then people start to know you. You don't need to go physically to meetings like I do. But you need to be part of the working group meetings. And this may be a problem because we have people all around the globe to make this happen. I have one meeting that is from me at 10 o'clock at the evening every 4 times a year. Yeah, but then the Australians can be at the meeting, and the Europeans can be at the meetings, and the Americans can be at the meetings. Yeah, you have had that problem quite a lot. So we have tried to figure out best times, and for us Europeans, it's about midnight or 6 o'clock in the morning. For Australians, it's more or less the same. So, yeah. So it's hard to get good meeting spots for everyone. That's why most of us doing this type of work doesn't have fixed work hours. We work whenever we can work, whenever we need to work. That's an important stuff here. If you want to be part of this, you may need to do stuff late nights, early mornings. So we can get everyone. That's very. What happened is that the steering committee, 3 of the persons will be exchanged every year. And so what we did this time, was that appointing those 3 with most votes 2 years, the next 3 1 year. And then next year we will start over the process for the 3. That's a simple way of doing stuff, starting up the staggering. It's also that you can only be part of the steering committee 3 consecutive terms. So you can max be in the steering committee for 6 years. Then you must be out of the steering committee for at least 2 years. Just to turn people around, we want to have people, different people in. And then we have the, here you got the names, and David Vagetti is the one that runs all the work in the John project for Edigate. He's the boss. So if you want to look at the roster, please look at wiki.john.org. And that address, I will see that it's an underscore in that link. You will get the presentation put up one way or another, so you can just click on it. That's everything for Edigate steering or e-governance. Any questions about that? You have a mic behind you.
Thank you. This is not a question, but I'd like to emphasize again more because, so this is an international community. So you guys have to think about the diversity.
We need
And
to-
now that Farafan, thank you for his serving, but at the same time, so he has to look for the successor because you know the Asian people is have to be the part of this community. So I'd like to emphasize more once more. Each individual people in this room have to think about. You have to guys be the part of this. You know the educating the member. So this is open. So this is a good chance to think about it again more.
So in the constitution, it says especially diversity around the steering committee membership. And that's not only different parts of the world, but it's also gender. Um, I can say it's one Asian, one American, and one woman. The rest is old white guys from Europe. And that is a problem. It's a real problem. I was asked to be in the steering committee by people because I have the knowledge of how this works, but I could say that in the future, I don't want to be part. I want others to be part. All around the world, Americas, Africa, Asia. I want them all because this is an international community. It's very important. Brooke said they are representing assembly. Yeah, but the assembly is very lightweight. But the best way of being able to change what happens in Edgain and of course in Regrets is the working groups. That will be the main driver. And be able to be part of the steering committee, you need to be in the working group so you get known. That is very important because you need to be known all over the world. The only way of doing that is participate in different things. And you don't need to travel.
There's equally an effective way, not the work groups, but actually making a great job out of your own federation,
Of
right?
course.
That is the primary way of being useful to the community by showing your peers that your federation, is active, is growing, is solving the research and education needs of your community. So that, if you have to choose, invest in home as the first priority, and when you've solved those problems, sharing that at fora like IAM work group or within refeds or educating work groups is the sort of the next level of community commitment.
Of course it is. But it's not before you are doing you have the good work at home done and you are part of the community that you are known. So who knows what Swami is doing except Swami? But because we are out and talking, discussing, people know who we are. That's the way of coming forward next step. So you need to do good work at home. You need to be part of the international community. So I will continue with Edigan Future. Edigan Future was a working group step up by Edigan Steering and Edigan e-governance at the highest level say we need to change Edigan. The last slides was about what we did with the steering governance part. Now we're looking at Edigan as whole, and then I will flip through this. I will not talk about every slide here because then it's tomorrow. But Edigan is an integration services, It's about making service available for users all over. Traditionally, that's been research services. Later, it has been also library services. And the last thing that happened in Europe, is educational services, especially students trying to go out abroad to get a exchange year. That is driving Europe right now. And you all know about the model here in the federated access. You have a Federation A, a Federation Blue, a Federation Green. So we have a user in Federation Blue that wants to use a service in Federation Green. That needs some type of interfederation agreement. And again, this also need to have ways of exchanging attributes at the refeds. So this is what it's all about. There are multiple ways of federations. We have what we have. We have the standard simple federations of Federation A. We have the more complex federation like Federation B, that is a proxy-based federation like CircConnext or some others. I don't know. Are there any proxy-based federation in Asia that have, or are they all full mesh? Yeah, or hybrid, yeah, of course. But hybrid is more, it's more like the first one. Yeah. And then we have, of course, Federation C, that is the most complex version, that have both SPs and IPs directly registered in the federation, but we also have proxies or hybrid versions with especially SPs. This ecosystem is very complex, especially in Europe, I can say. Especially in Europe. Because we were early. For example, my federation was established in 2006. We are full mesh, but our neighboring country, Norway, has a proxy federation. They were established at the same time. Different ways of doing stuff. So does it work? Yeah. And again, global coverage, as you see here, the data is from last week. 79 federations, 9,100 entities. You see, it's quite a lot of IDPs. We see where the coverage is. As we saw yesterday, Russia's fall off the map because of a specific war. Because of European Commission's funding both EduRoom and EduGain, then in the international nodes, they decided to tell Giant that we need to put them out of mission right now. It was the European Commission. Yeah. Of course I can. Normally, we don't want to do this at all. We don't want to have political reasons for anything. And we were ordered this time to remove it. Yeah. And John is very, very, very clear on that. They don't want to do any stuff, that type of decision. That's a member federation decision. Yeah. And the problem is the difference between Russia and Israel is that Russia invaded a country that is very close to Europe. Israel is invading something else yeah. The problem is that Israel is very near to Europe and US. That means the Commission will not say do this. Yeah. I don't know what I think about it. I can say that frankly. I don't have any opinion. Yeah. Yeah. For a while. Yeah. 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 So it's all about It's all about politics in this case, and we stand outside the politics. To be very clear, we are not taking part of any politics here. If we are ordered by a funding agency, that's another thing. That's totally another thing. And that's what happened. I'm sad that that should happen. No. A government structure. Yeah, I totally agree. We are supporting the research and education, nothing else. Yep. So what we are seeing in Africa is that this map is not true. Because we have Africa Connect that connects a few countries together in one federation. We have another of those more than one NRN or more than one country federations. So the coverage is better than it looks, but it's not good. Federation doesn't need to be at national level. They can be subnational, but can also be supranational. That's totally okay. And if you look in Europe, we have 3 countries that is not part of it. Small countries in the Baltic area. Yeah. Albania, I think. Yeah. Yeah, they are the blue one, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We're not talking politics here. The politics in that region made World War One. I can say directly. The same problem is still there. So, Edding trust model is quite interesting. This is very important to understand. The use of trust is homogenization. The homogenization trusts the local federation. The local federation trusts Endgame. And then we go back all the way down to services. This means that as an end user, you don't know Endgame. You don't know anything like that, and you shouldn't. It's we that running federations that need to know Endgame. Identity providers need to know if they want to be exposed international or not. Service provider also want to know that. They don't need to know Endgame, but they need to know if they don't want to be exposed internationally. So do users trust Endgame? No, they don't know what it is. That's the main thing. So we did a conscious decision when we started this in 2012, something like that. Not to make Endgame the known brand.
I think that's the question because users don't even know who is EduGain.
Should they?
Yeah, because we can see from the map. I mean, because just now Brooke said that this is for research. So this researcher is among of the users. So if they don't know about EduGain, so yeah, mouth to mouth, mouth to mouth.
So the point is they're not supposed to know about EduGain in the way that they don't know about NRENs and they don't know about the internet. Their job as researchers is to collaborate with other researchers. So they want a seamless experience where possible. And because the support model is their home institution, right? So you'll see someone like UK Federation has removed all UK Federation branding from their discovery services and, you know, error logs and things like this, because for support, you're supposed to talk to your home institution help desk, right? So they don't want to distract. And the only reason Edugain became a brand, and we tried very much to make it invisible infrastructure, is that when systems broke, people would blame Edugain. Federations would blame it. And so unfortunately, we became a word that people would use. And so then we had to react. And that's why the development of the support team and the security team and other things, because we wanted Edugain to be invisible, because what's important is the University of Tasmania or Tohoku University or, you know,
LIGO.
KTH. Yeah.
Yeah.
The project that you're participating in is important, and it should seamlessly work, whether you're on an academic network or you're on commodity or you're on EduRoam in a cafe or in an airport or a train or,
Or
you know,
space.
yeah, it's all supposed to be seamless. And so your researchers in your institution should be happy that Sifulan makes all of this stuff invisible to you and provides all of this service. So your local federation does that work for you. And it's your institution that allows you to collaborate. And, you know, you can build a collaboration and pick a New Zealand university, you know, a South African, a Dutch, you know, a Canadian, and you can build up a collaboration, and you don't need to provide guest accounts for this, you know, and you don't have to provide user support when the person in Canada forgets their password to your guest service in the middle of the night. You don't want them to have to wake up at 2 a.m. to call your help desk, and then the help desk says, wait a minute, you know, you're from the University of Athabasca. We don't know you. Oh, no, but I've got a guest account on your portal and I need to reset the password. And they're like, no, we don't know who you are. You know, so home institution is always important, and we try very hard to make the service work and make it invisible where possible, because and like, you know, a lot of work that Terry does is he gets, you know, member universities in Australia, and they say things like, well, we have a collaboration with Namibia. What can you do for us? Right. And Terry's like, well, unfortunately, you know, we can't help you. Namibia's just not doing anything at the moment. Right. But we can bring in, you know,
More.
yeah, more and more. And so the idea is to work with these different regional partners and try and solve problems piece by piece. I mean, even though we have these countries and they all look like they're covered, you know, there's lots of research organizations in Australia that aren't connected, lots of organizations in Japan. When I say lots, I don't mean lots, but, you know, diminishing returns. Not every organization is a member of the federations. And so that's also a, you know, something that we have
And
to
it's also a
solve.
bigger problem. Even those that are not that are members are not releasing attributes good enough. And they're talking mostly harmless attributes. Name, mail address, organizational, nothing else. And that is a big problem. But that we won't talk about today. That is another day, tomorrow. But that is the biggest problem we have, is that home organization doesn't release attributes. That's the biggest pain in federated use. So if we go forward, now it's complex. This is how metadata streams. So Edugain reads the federation registered entity metadata in the federation stream. Edugain, or Interfederation Service, reads the federation streams, aggregate and put out a new stream that the federation reads and put into their metadata. This is complex. Now, this is how things work. Yeah, it's very complex. It must be complex because we need to have
To try and simplify it, and this only works for the old people in the room. Once upon a time, they used to produce phone books. Does everyone remember a phone book? Not too sure. And the phone books were traditionally divided into two sections, a white pages section, which involved people, and the yellow pages section, which involved businesses. And so,
And maybe blue section involving government.
oh yeah, all of the information and the complaints ombudsman at the very start. And so you have IDPs are white and the service providers are yellow. And the federation, the security in the federation is you can only call from a white pages entry to a business. And if you're not in the phone book, you can't talk to each other. There's no, when Terry got the call from an unknown number at the start of the session, that doesn't happen in the federation space. You only get calls from known numbers to known locations. And so, but you get to choose whether you publish your service or your identities in upstream to Edugain or not. And even as a federation and even as a university, you can choose whether you should accept that metadata that comes down. Now, the
So,
caveat
look,
is,
I need to
yeah.
move on. Otherwise, we'll be here until.
Voice service and
No,
on top of the.
it's not doing that. That
Okay.
is seamless access,
Mm.
paid by Incommon and Geant, supplied by the library or the people that are putting up articles. So that's not Edugain, it's something else, but it's driven by Edugain or the Geant. So there is a common to help find, and that is better than the old ones. So then we have a compliance standards. I will not dig down to this, but it's a big problem. Very big problem. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah. So this is the problem we have. Attribute release, more or less. That is the biggest problem we have. We will not look in further into that now, as I said. And what could possibly go wrong? Everything. Everywhere. We have complex environment, we have user expectations that everything just work. We have new technology adoption, OIDC, OID Federation, the digital wallets that is on its way in, and so on. And we had a slow governance model. So what we are doing, we created the Edugain Future Working Group. We took REEF as baseline expectations because they are very important. Then we identify key issues and review the governance model. That was the Future Working Group's work. I can say directly here, it was more or less European and American guys doing this stuff. So what we came forward with was this complex service experience, more than 9,000 entities. Expectance how to make these things use. It was unpredictable based on that the home organization doesn't release attributes. That's really bad from a user experience. Diverse policies and process between federations, of course. That is both political and cultural. Don't forget culture here. Culture is very important. Then we have variable service offerings. Yeah, we have, now we'll only talk about Europe, but you will see this in your own part of the world also. We have federations running a federation 0.1 FT. 0.1 running a federation for a whole country. Yeah, that's more or less 1 month a year. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I say 1 month. Yeah, and then we have federations that, like my federation, has 5 FTs for 50 identifiers. So we have all that span, or we have you guys in AF, of course, and UK that has over 20, between 20 and 30 people running the federation. So yeah, the expectancy is very different in different parts. And I can say privately, from my perspective, you cannot run a federation on 0.1 FTEs. That doesn't work. And we have the slow response to change. That we have tried to get by changing governance, adding working groups. And then we, the same with delays in decision making then. And we have an unclear mission and branding strategy. So the steering committee will start working with all those stuff. We will put that out to working groups, of course. Figure out how to do stuff. So if we look down here, this is the solution tree. So refits is making specification standards. That's the way of doing. And all, as Terry told us about before, all work in refits is open for everyone. You don't need to be a member. You don't need to pay money to be a member. You only need to participate in working groups. So that's the way of doing stuff. That's where all standards coming from. Services, yeah, we need to define active release profiles, consistent metadata publishing, and so on and so on. Everything is based on what did in refits put into the global community. And the governance we have changed. This was the solution tree we found. So we'll continue working with it, and we hope you get help with this side of the world. And I can say one reason, very clear reason, a different type of culture here than in the Western part of the world. It's very important. Very important. And yeah, so extra changes, we have already talked about those. There will be changes in how we do stuff in Edgame. We will not put out the whole federation because one entity is wrong. That just happened now. We will filter them on the future. We will have a new compliance checking system, and we will do things like the updates to the declaration and metadata registration practice statement. That is what MRRPS stands for. That is how you define metadata, how handle metadata. Yeah. Then we have new technologies. We have the classical SAML to the right or the left. Sorry, to the left. We have the new OpenID and OID Federation. That is already old, and we have the new in the bottom, the new wallet-based systems. All this we need to figure out how to make work together. And if we don't do this, identification will be irrelevant within 10 years. That's not probably me. I mean, we'll retire them, but for researchers, it's very important. For students, it's very important. As I hear, you hear me talking about students more than researchers, because students are the one that makes home organization do things, because they are a vast number of users. And the researchers get what they did for students for free. So, conclusions, yeah, Edgame is a great success. It really is. We have some main challenges. We have a change process, and we need to adopt new technologies. That's everything. Yeah. Assurance framework we do later. We can take that tomorrow. Yeah. Any questions, thoughts about this? Yeah.
knowledge about your very impressive model. What about the financial setup of this and how it is sponsored and so on? How it runs financially?
You mean how we do in Summit in Sweden? Yeah, we do it by membership fees for
Okay.
the NRM.
Mhm.
So you get connection,
Mhm.
you get identity federation,
Okay.
and you get the basic security functions within the membership. So we don't, and we only do membership fees for home organization, not for services.
And
No fees for your
okay,
game.
okay,
It's
okay.
included.
Yeah, it's
So that's why if you are part of NRN, you can do stuff if you do it in that way.
okay.
If you do it as a specific service deliverance, you need to get money out of it.
And I always say, joining EduGain is not free. Your membership of EduGain will not cost you money if you meet the quality bar that has been set by the wider community. So the expectation is you do a great job. You meet up with your peers at an agreed level of functionality, and because you do that, you can participate at no cost, right?
Yeah.
Because the that is the value. Because when you tell people it's free, no, we actually ended up with a situation where publishers would not join the Indian Federation directly, or it came to a head then. Publishers were having to join every federation, and that becomes time intensive for them, and they don't want to do it. So they just started to focus on their few key federations they were already members with. And then, oh, sorry. Okay, no, but very quick. But the idea was when people met the quality bar of participating in EduGain, it gave the publishers the assurance that everyone's doing everything right. So the publishers had to spend less time fault finding. So they liked it as well. So that minimum bar, and this is why the bar progressively goes up, we find new challenges and problems to fix, and you're expected to rise with everyone.
So the new main bar will be in a year or two that everyone needs to fulfill REFA's baseline expectations. You need to be able to say that you do that. That is where we are, the way we are going. So that's why you talk about
And
baseline expectations.
the other thing is about the compatibility of the technology because it's so diverse. Like there's a lot of complex
That's where the
URL. Yeah.
proxy is.
Yeah. So how like suppose there's a new technology, new things coming in one part of the EduGain, and that is
Yeah, so how we do this is very.
I mean the
simple.
scalability
Yeah.
will be a challenge, but how you
So what we do is we're putting on technology translators,
okay.
i.e. proxies,
Okay.
that is, for example, OIDC entity on the inside of the proxy, but SAML entity on the outside of the proxy. That's a way of doing it. That makes things happen without don't need to change your technology stack in the home organization.
And can you tell us, please, one or two success stories? Like this is a great success, as you mentioned, but one, two big success stories that.
One of the biggest success stories we have in Europe is the Euro HPC,
Okay, good.
where we for the HPC systems, Lumi and Phoenix is running a big proxy, really big proxy that do identity step up, authentication step up, and other stuff.
So, I think it's LIGO getting a Nobel Prize.
Yeah, that's the biggest.
LIGO got a Nobel Prize.
Oh.
for
Yeah.
validating stuff.
Yeah.
And they allocate
Mm,
it's-
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
like, if they-
Mm,
they cannot maintain the guessing because the player-
So my last comment here, my really last comment, is when I'm trying to sell this into Sweden, you may hinder the next Nobel Prize taker if you don't do this. as Sweden, we are supplying the Nobel Prize to everyone. So yeah, so that's a really good competition. But that's the way it happens. Even last year, we got a Swedish Nobel Prize taker that was using our federation to do stuff.
It's all the policy work. Samuel. Like they say,
Yeah.
we'll work for something comes in the future.
Yeah, so it's only technology profile on the policy that differs.
Thanks, pal. Thanks again. So I'm just going to jump straight to the Federation updates. I know we've got a couple of folk online. We've got Raj and Toby, I noticed. So are either of you up for giving a, and Vlad, of course. Who'd like to go first? Jump in, first in, best dressed.
I'm happy to go.
Okay, there you go, Vlad. You got about 5 to 10 minutes max, or less.
Okay, now I have a brief presentation, so that should be easy. Yep, so this is an update for Tuakere, the New Zealand Access Federation. And Tuakere is operated by RIANS, the New Zealand NREN. And we have 18 member institutions in the federation. Not all NRN members are members of the federation, but all of the 8 universities that New Zealand has are. 6 of the 7 larger research institutes called CRIs, Ground Research Institutes. New Zealand has a large number of small research organizations. They are of the size of about 100 staff in total, maybe 20 scientists among them, 1 IT person. So we have 2 of them on board. We are trying to get more. New Zealand has a somewhat large set of various polytechnics, which the previous government tried to merge all into one organization, and we've had a change of government, and the new government decided, nah, we actually don't want this merger to proceed. So instead, they want to reassess that and see how many organizational bodies they actually want, which leaves all of these organizations in limbo. They don't know what to do. They are not willing to sign any new contracts, but so far we have 1 and we might be getting more of them. It looked like we would have the whole entity if they got merged, but that's not happening. So we'll see how that evolves. But yeah, we are trying to grow the membership there and just serve the whole education sector. Technology-wise, we are running primarily on the AF software stack. Thanks, AF. While AF runs it in AWS, we host it on our own infrastructure. That's partly because we are an NREN. We are an infrastructure provider. We need to operate a VMware FAR anyway. If we have it, we can just run the federation on that at a lower cost. And as for the funding, has been mentioned here before, various federations run on tight budget, and New Zealand doesn't throw money that much at research. So it's also pretty much me running the federation on a single FTE, but I may be getting a second person. Keep fingers crossed for me, please. Yeah. For work that's looming ahead, the AF software has significantly evolved and we are lagging behind with some upgrades. So Federation Registry has been replaced by Federation Manager, which encompasses the Civil Service and Rapid Connect. And that's my work for the new year, plus work for the new person if that happens. I think last time I gave an update here might have been Apan57. So if I just try to position what changed since then, we rolled out a hosted IDP service, which is also hosted on on-prem hardware in a streamlined way, trying to reduce the cost so that they are actually acceptable to these small research organizations. And that got some of them on board. Those that have the one IT person just would not deploy an IDP. The hosted service works for them great. What took me by surprise was the larger research organizations that are like around 500 staff were like, oh, that's great. Can we have that? So they all jumped onto our hosted IDP service as well. And now I'm getting messages from the universities. Can we switch to your hosted IDP instead of running an on-prem IDP? I see that as an interesting challenge. I didn't expect that. And the service was built streamlined for low-cost operation. Warning to universities that this is not it might not have the full enterprise grade they might want. They are still interested. So they might not connect their learning management system that way, but for ordinary federation use, they feel like, no, we want that. Now, for other work I hope to be doing is the new and interesting stuff. So working with members on rolling out Refeds MFAs so that the IDP can receive, process, and signal back that MFA was done and use Refeds MFA profile for signaling that. For those on the hosted IDP, this is done. That's part of the tooling that drives the hosted IDP. From members who run their on-prem, that's the longer tail, but that tail is actually getting shorter. What I also hope to be doing this year is pushing forward the Refeds assurance framework. That could be a question for this forum, whether the 2.0 has actually been finalized. And once it is, I hope to push that forward with the membership. And that would be building on earlier work where I've been trying to get the members to roll out sample subject ID, sample pairwise ID. I think I'm at about 60% penetration. So not all IDPs supported. Again, those on the hosted IDP where the configuration is centrally managed were easy to do once I got the members to confirm a non-reassigned identifier. And I'm also pushing forward certify. Getting a certified declaration from members, we made it mandatory for joining EduGain, but we might possibly have to refresh that for certify version 2. And again, there's the tail of members who are not in EduGain yet and who haven't asserted certify yet. So that's the update from me. Any questions?
I have comments, of course, Vlad. You know
Yes,
me.
please go ahead.
So Refeds MFA version 1.2 was published in October. I will
Okay,
talk
so
about
was
that
published.
later.
Thanks.
Yeah. Refeds Assurance Framework version 2 was published in December. So they are
Okay.
done.
Okay.
And Certify 1 and Certify 2 is only one difference, as Terry will say later. And it's about if you're running
Mandating
version,
the communication across
yeah,
federation.
communication across entities. So it's mandatory to do communication in 2, but not 1. That's the difference. And I
Yes.
haven't,
Go ahead.
I haven't heard any federation starting demanding Certify 2, only Certify 1.
Yeah. I participated in the security exercise that was run by Internet 2 November, and that just made me aware that, okay, while I can talk to the IT, I get them to make a statement that within their member organization, they follow this set of policies. There could be a gap there. They would not realize that if an account compromise happened, they really should talk to the federation operator and pass that message on. So yeah, that's proactive from my side. Please make them aware that if something happens, they need to let us know.
So the biggest problem we have seen in Sweden is the traffic light protocol around certifying. Not every
Just
organization
making
want to
them
use that.
understand that
Yeah, that's the biggest problem
for the members.
for the members and services. It's not about the rest. The rest they need to do by law, but this they don't need to do by law.
Just understanding what messages they can pass on and
Yeah, how to use traffic light protocol, how and implement it into their organization. That's the biggest issue.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm used to it because through the NRN work, I get traffic light protocol flag messages quite often.
So what we
But
have seen is that identity providers are not run by the same person who run network and security there.
yes, that was one finding from the Internet 2 security exercise, that the teams running the IDP who talk to Federation and the security teams could be very distinct and isolated from each other. That was even a finding for me when I attended Internet 2 TechX in September, where at the breakfast there would be tables for identity access management and tables where InfoSec people would meet. And these were distinct communities.
We're going to have to continue this conversation offline. So thank you, Vlad.
Yep.
Toby.
Thanks for the time.
Hi, Terry.
How are you? Haven't seen you for
Hi.
a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Hi, Toby.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you all again. Okay, let me share my screen first. Okay, just a moment. Where's my screen? Okay, where's my screen? Hey, I cannot share my screen. Sorry. Okay, allow. Sorry, just a moment. Technical issue. Hey. Hey. Okay, I guess it's about to come. Okay, my daughter's here. Okay, sorry, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, should be okay. Okay, I just have a pretty short update about Hong Kong SS Federation. So it has been a while we haven't been updating in APAN, so we just recap what we are doing. Hong Kong SS Federation was founded in 2016. Just like other federations, our goal is to support online resources for education and research sector, focusing mainly in Hong Kong. But actually, we also have a member from Macau. We are under Joint University Computer Center, which has been co-founded with all the higher education institutes in Hong Kong. So so far we have 8 founding members. So it's listed over here. All of them are in Hong Kong, and we have another 4 affiliate members, which are also higher education in Hong Kong and Macau. So about the operation of Hong Kong SS Federation, we have an operation team, which is all volunteers, I may say, because what we all have our full-time job in the university, but we also have a bit of contribution, as much as possible, I can say, to help out at the operation of the HKAF. So from the founding of the HKF, we have 5 core members, which is we, PolyU, HKUST, CUHK, Hong Kong U, and CTU. So these 5 members are running the operation team for the HKAF. And we have a rotation basis because we need to have someone to be the convener and the team lead of this operation. So we founded that we have a rotation base to each institute may take up the convener's role each year. So this is come back to PolyU, so that's why I'm coming back. Okay, and what we have planned in this year, we have mainly do have two action items we are discussing in the group. The first one is the refreshment of the core federation services, because since the founding of HKF, we have then been largely upgrading our infrastructure. So our services, core federation services, was still based on the one Terry happens to set up from AAF. So it has been a few years already, and the underlying operating system is the CentOS 7, and CentOS 7 is reaching the end of life by the June this year. So we are talking about we should upgrade at least the operating systems, and also maybe we are looking for some alternatives to replace the core federation services, mainly the metadata service and discovery service. So what we have looking at is the Jagger. So we have another colleague from CHK is helping us to look into this. One issue we are having is that we actually it's very good that Terry and Civiland has some guides on how to set up Jagger, but their comment is that they are not too familiar with the Kubernetes. So what we are looking for is they are worried if we have some overhead on running that Kubernetes based platform. So we are still looking for any options on that, maybe just on top of containers or just installing Jaggers without any containers on underneath.
I've got a guide for installing it on an EC2 instance.
Okay. Oh, that's very good. Yeah. And another item we are looking at is similar, because we have shipleaf running by each of our members. So most of them are still at version 3, so it has been pretty old already. So we are looking for preparing the guidelines on the upgrades. We see that this one is better because we see many federations already have some guideline for their members. So we just need to follow those guidelines and prepare our version. So our targeted version is, so far we are still thinking about we should go for version 4. But we know that version 4 is going to end of life soon also. But we are thinking that but version 5 is just released, so we are still hesitating whether we should go to the latest release or just stay to the last stable version. So these are the two main action we are planning in HKF. So
Yeah, we might have a call with you sometime in a few weeks just to discuss that, because we're moving everyone to version 5 at the moment. So yeah, and we've got a couple of tools that might make it easier to do an on-prem upgrade for your folk. But anyway, thank you, Toby.
Yeah, I have a comment
thank you.
around that. When you going up to version 4 or 3.1 of Shibboleth makes it easier to go up to 5. So if you're running the latest in the 4, you got all deprecation messages within the Shibboleth logs. So you can fix the problems before you go up to 5, so that you are going the right way. First 4.3.1, then 5. And I can also have one more comment around this. Please try to figure out, that is all of you Shibboleth, please figure out if you can help Shibboleth Consortia with the membership. They need money, I can say. I'm sitting in the consortia board, so I know they need money to continue the good work.
I just recently joined.
Yeah, they have. So it's that's very important. The lowest level is okay, but please do.
Okay.
Thank you, Toby.
Okay, thank you.
Raj. Nice to see you again, buddy.
Thank you, Terry. Hi.
Hi. You've got
I hope-
about 10 minutes, and then we're all going to walk out and get lunch.
Yes, I'll have only maximum 2-3 minutes, nothing further, more updates. And I hope, where is Brooke?
Brooks just left the room for some reason.
Okay, no problem. Hi, everyone. I hope everybody is fine and doing well.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Hope my screen is visible for you.
It's getting there. Yes, there we are. All good.
Yes, as you are aware that we have our dedicated website and we are doing pretty good. And we had many conferences and the promotional activity we have done through ministry. And this is our dedicated website. Right now, comparatively, the last meeting, we have added another 20 more IDPs, the fully functional IDP, around 248 institutions signed membership with us. 190 institution is fully functional and 44 service provider directly signed membership with us. Like they're giving direct services like all Elsevier Science Direct and Web of Science, Clarivate Analysis, Springer, Taylor Francis kind of thing. And this is pretty new that as you are aware that majority of the Indian higher education research is being funded by Government of India. We have a new concept called One Nation, One Subscription. For example, each and every institution, there are 60,100 institution like standalone colleges, more than 1,193 universities are there in India. Instead of going for individual subscription for each institute from different publishers, that government of India have initiated the new process called ONOS, One Nation, One Subscription. Like we collectively called all the publishers, that different publishers, and we do pay on behalf of all the universities and engineering institutions in India, like one single subscription for whole education institutions in India. That's the idea behind it. The Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India is working on One Nation, One Subscription initiative. As part of this initiative, this Principal Scientific Advisor Office has asked to collect overlapped e-resources subscribed through various consortiums. See, as you are aware that we have total 52 ministries. Out of 52 ministries, 3-4 ministries are providing degree. Like Ministry of Education, running 3 different consortium, like UGC Infonet for universities and Indest for all technical institution, and arts and science discipline, we have an Enlist consortium. These 3 different consortium will have a overlapping of e-resources subscription. And ministry have asked us to remove all overlapping resources, and we have given them. Once this is coming into the picture for live, and then they plan to set up for even on campus also through IDP, they are going to provide services for all the education institutions. That is under process. We have given our idea how the way they can get access, not only restricted for IP, we are able to provide remote access also for all education institutions. This is new for us, and like all IDP, which we have set up 3.2 versions and all 6 years before, everything now into 4.3 latest stable version, and approaching other institutions from different ministries. And we set up already Viewfind for IDP, Viewfind integration, one common like resource portal, like for example, discovery services. Each institution will have different kind of set of subscription. By joining this Viewfind, that institution can log in with their own IDP that already we have implemented. It is almost 4 or 5 top institutions we have tested, and maybe in coming years, coming months, we will float for all the institution, all INFED members. Now again, our team has grown up to 4. And we offered more than 25 IDP, like IDP as a service. We do maintain our own private cloud, and we are offering them as a service. And till, as you are aware that we are promoting like Share ID and all other interfederation services. What are all the aspects like student will get benefit? We are promoting those services in India through various conferences and talk and workshops. That's it.
Doing a great job over in India. You need to grow your team and grow your federation.
Yes, sir.
So it's
Yeah, tell me, Terry. I hope to see you all in physical mode. And is there any funding support? Then I will also try to apply. Is there any source that is good for us to meet each other in physical mode?
We're trying to get funding. Discussions happening. I'll discuss it. All right.
You are not audible. You are not audible, Terry. You are not audible.
Not at the moment, but we're trying. We're not, there's no funding at the moment, but we're trying to find some, and we'll be discussing that tomorrow afternoon